She's like. All right. Welcome to the March 17th Grand County Commission meeting. I'd like to open this meeting at 4 o'clock with the pledge of allegiance. Like allegiance to the flag of the United States
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In attendance this evening is Commissioner Hadini, Commissioner Hadler, Commissioner Martinez, Commissioner McGann, Commissioner McCurdy, Commissioner Winfield, Commissioner McCandless. We also have our county attorney, Stephen Stocks, our commission administrator, Mark Panger, and our clerk auditor, Gabe Wojtek, as well as our deputy administrator, Clay Hall, and Melissa and Dana are online. And we're going to start with our citizens to be heard. So if we have anyone in the chambers that would like to speak, go ahead and raise your hand. Come on.
All right, so hi everybody. I think I know most of you guys. It's good to see you guys all here and thank you for your time and attention that you dedicate to the community as a whole. It's really appreciated. And I just wanted to a quick shout out. I think most of you already know we have another group that's given a bunch of time to our community, even though they don't live here, and that's Team Rip Con, who's in town with Ubi. We do have, they are, for those who are listening and might not know, they are a veteran-led humanitarian organization that helps communities before, during, and after disasters. And they've been coming to Moab since the Semaphore fire in 2018, and they've been a huge help to the community. This week, I think we have, I just got from there, so I apologize, I'm kind of filthy, but we have maybe 25 to 30 of them out there with about 8-10 chainsaws running. And they are helping out with fire break with the work at the property up near the golf course. So it's city property out in the county. And we did want to just make sure everybody is aware it's a great time to come out and meet. I know we have at least one of y'all that are going to come out and see some of the work in action. If you are interested, let me know. I can get back in touch with you. We're kind of trying to keep it so we don't disrupt the flow of work to some fairly tight times.
But just text you.
Yeah, text me, call, email me, or if I can get back with any of you. I know that's coming out. Do you want to come out?
Times that are best?
About 10 a.m. is when we're the next couple of days. We have people coming out around 10 a.m. The other option is if you are an early riser and want to come to the morning briefing at 7:30 a.m. at Asta. That's just the quick morning. You get to see everybody and chat. And then in the evenings, there's also opportunities when they after dinner, when they have a little bit of a fire out in the side yard. So, and we're happy to help facilitate that for any of you guys if you want to just get in touch with us. So I just wanted to give a quick reminder while they're hopefully we see you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, anyone else in the chambers want to come speak? I'm gonna Rachel.
My notes so I don't ramble on. My name is Rachel Paxman, and we have been in business in Moab for over 30 years now, my family over 60 years. I know the importance of consistency with our line service. If Contour wouldn't have come in when SkyWest failed early, and for the second time, mind you, we would not have air service currently in Moab. Contour is a good example of a company that is committed to our community. They listened to your requests and are fulfilling your requests. They listened when you wanted departure times changed, and they fulfilled those departure time change requests. This is a company offering consistency and the destination you asked for. It would be foolish to not continue with a company that has proven success over the last 2 years and will continue to grow to meet our needs. Contour is interlined with 5 major airlines versus 2 with SkyWest. If you choose SkyWest, you're limiting growth potential at the airport. Contour is open to other destinations as well, like Los Angeles and Las Vegas. SkyWest cannot offer that. It was just announced today Paige will be flying to Las Vegas with Contour Airlines out of Paige to Las Vegas, which could as well be us in the future. There was clearly overwhelming support for Contour with the county survey, and they still construed it against Contour. Contour has the best offer on the table with 3 destinations. I can go over the statistics of Contour's success over the last 2 years, but I know you've received those. I hope and trust that you have taken time to go over those statistics and see how many more passengers Contours is be able to bring in than any other airlines offer. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, do you have anyone else in the audience that would like to come up and speak? Or not, Allison?
My name is Allison Mathis, and I'm here to exercise my First Amendment rights to petition the government for redress of grievances. On that topic, after my statement 2 weeks ago, I sent the statement to y'all by email. I got a response from Attorney Stocks, who said that he would be doing a review. He anticipated at the time it would be next week. I will note that I've not gotten it yet. I'm assuming that you are just busy and that the review is still in process. I take any effort to curtail my First Amendment rights very, very seriously. And to me, it seemed like what happened a month ago was an effort to control my speech. It was not about the structure of citizens to be heard. I wasn't over the time frame. I came up after I'd been called, et cetera, et cetera. And to me, it felt like an abuse of power to try to curtail what I was saying a month ago. And I want to be sure that that never happens again. I believe that the policies and procedures of this commission around citizens to be heard and public participation needs to be revised so that such an abuse of power will never happen again. This is very important, particularly what's happening nationwide around the curtailment of people's rights, First Amendment, for example. Next topic, I want to mention the Gardner study. It is now about 6 weeks prior to the revised date. I want to know if any of the other commissioners have seen drafts and or preliminary results. Information that Mary O'Brien shared last week and 2 weeks ago in Citizens to be Heard said that the draft analysis and preliminary analysis hadn't even been shared with Chair McCandless. This is very concerning to me. It's just 6 weeks out of a revised timeline. Another issue I want to bring up related to the Gardner study was, I believe it was last June, I don't have the date in front of me, but there was a vote on a certain set of language for the agreement, which was a contract with Gardner Institute. Yet what was signed by Mr. Winfield and the Gardner Institute was changed. And I believe it was maybe 6 weeks ago, I don't have that date in front of me, where Brian Martinez said, oh, well, changes like this happen. Actually, I don't think contracts change like that because, you know, if you sign a contract with someone or a vote of the commission, which is how this county manages its business, if there's a vote on one thing and a contract gets signed with something else, that doesn't seem legal to me because anything could be changed at any time. And also some of the changes between what was actually signed and what was voted for and approved by the commission were very substantive. For example, the changes in the principal investigators, it went from 3 principal investigators to just 1, and the one was economists and did not have the public lands expertise that the other PIs in what the commission voted for had. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, do we have anybody else? So we may not get to a 6 o'clock Citizens to be Heard tonight. We have a pretty short agenda. So if anyone wants to speak, then this is your time. Come on up, Pete.
My name is Pete Gross. Not to belabor a point, but I'm going to belabor a point. Elected officials over the last couple of years have voted in support of timed entry at Arches National Park by, I don't know if I have my numbers exactly right, but something like 17 to 6 in favor. The Kennedy Gardner Policy Institute is a widely respected and reputable organization. When they were first presented with the Grand County Commission proposal, I'd be willing to wager that the Institute probably advised to expand the COPE to consider more than just timed entry, which was kind of a dubious, to use a word that I got in trouble for using, a dubious argument against timed entry. I'd also like to point out that I believe it was Commissioner Hadler, somebody introduced a substitute motion to do exactly that, to expand the scope to consider other possible factors like weather or, just whatever. And so, and also the gardeners too would be remiss if they didn't suggest that you expand the scope. So I would be curious to hear, did they suggest to you to expand the scope? I know you can't answer that, but I'd love to, my email, you know where to find me. Okay, that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
All right, anybody else in the audience would like to speak? In the back row, there you go.
Evening. I am AJ Throgmorton. Three things I want to touch on tonight. First, thank you to all of you for what you do. Sitting in the seats, you get to draw a lot of heat. It's not always easy, so thank you. The other thing was just a quick update on what you're going to be voting on tonight. The EAS Essential Air Service that we went through and reviewed for Canyonlands Airport. It went through a committee of a few of you. It's gone through the airport board. We had 4 tremendous choices to go through. Great input from a consultant that we hired to do it. And it wasn't an easy decision, but I think what you're going to look at and what you've got is the right decision to go with. So I would encourage that. And last but not least, somebody stuck a picture out on the interwebs today of the Arches entrance backed up as far as it gets, usually, whether there's timed entry or not. And it's weird to me the blind allegiance to the timed entry as the only solution that was going to work for Arches and mitigating access to it. I'm very encouraged by a lot of the options in the ACE plan and really looking forward to implementing all of those, and seeing what they can do for us. So, thank you.
Thank you. Do we have, we'll go to online. Do we have anyone online, Quinn, that wants to speak? Okay. Anyone else in the chambers that would like to come up and speak?
Man, this place gives me anxiety.
Two.
Been here too many times, I think. Don't start the clock yet. Wait for your name. My name is Rory Paxman, ex-county commissioner for 8 years. Also on the airport board for 8 years. Man, there's a lot of mistruths going on this here thing. The consulting firm you're gonna hear tonight said the exact same thing they said to us when I was on the board, pretty much to the T with going to San Francisco, or San Francisco is the #1 place you wanna go. Of course it is. It's great. That's #1. They're gonna say #2. Guess what #2 is? Los Angeles. Where can Contour take us? Los Angeles. SkyWest will never be able to take us any of those places unless you fly out of here and go somewhere else. No direct flights. Man, I got stuff written down, but I want to thank you guys very much because I know how hard it is. I've been up there, been in these shoes before, and it's not easy. But you guys really need to look at this. I hope you guys have done some looking in, because I know you guys are going to go off what the airport board has said. But there is a lot of stuff in there that is not true, and you guys need to go through and look at it. I know you guys have to vote tonight because DOT needs this soon. I think it's already been 2 months they've been looking at this. I heard from the day one from a couple of people that they already wanted SkyWest, and no ifs, ands, or buts. It was because they wanted Salt Lake. Well, Contour came in and gave you Salt Lake. Then it was because our bags don't go all the way through. Well, now you can check your bags through with 5 airlines, not just 2. I mean, I don't know what you guys are looking at, but this is going to be unbelievable if you guys swap. I really just, I wrote down a whole list of things I wanted to go over. I know I'm not going to have time because I only have a minute left. But man, I hope you guys will, your survey on the thing was horrible. I got on there, I wanted Phoenix. I did not want anything else. I put in Phoenix, and guess what it gave me? SkyWest, flying to Salt Lake. I'm like, how rigged is this? This just can't be right. Unbelievable. I mean, I don't know if you guys tried it. And also with the comments that came into the county, half of that was my problem because I did a lot of going around and talking to businesses and people around town. And I said, all you have to do is go on and you don't even have to waste your time. Just go on and put where you want to go and who you want to go with. That's all you have to do. Well, a lot of those, they said, oh, look, a lot of copy and paste, you know. I hope you guys will listen to the citizens. It was way overwhelming for Contour. I'm done with my time, but thank you guys very much. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Rory. Do I have anyone else that wants to come up and speak? Oh, we are good. Okay, well, then we're gonna end the citizens to be heard section of our meeting this evening, and we're gonna move on to our presentations. Our first presentation is the Moab Tourism Advisory Board. And that's with Wendell and our co-chairs. We have our chair Wendell and our vice chair Lori McFarland.
How do I share my screen, Jerry?
So you're gonna get on the Zoom. Do you have our Zoom? Go to the civic portal.
The Zoom meeting?
So. And then once
the link, Wendell?
you have the link to the Zoom. If you go to the Grand County Civic Portal page, it's got the link on there. Agenda. It's just slow.
I just emailed you a link too, so you
He's
can.
very fast, but it's slow. Yeah, I was like, I think he knows.
It took ours 15 minutes to sign in.
It's okay, I was to start with the.
Don't stress.
Use the link I just sent.
Where did you send it to your email?
Yes.
My email?
Yes.
All right. Good there.
You are fast, don't you?
Nothing yet.
It always takes a minute, don't feel bad.
Gmail address, is that the correct one?
Right, that's me. I'm in.
And then share your screen. Think it. The bottom.
And do now I share my screen?
Wait, I don't see you in the meeting yet. Are you in the meeting? Oh, that's.
So,
No, that one.
right, wait a minute.
Jimmy has.
Here you go. Here you go.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah. Awesome. It's gonna ask for a passcode, it's 2. Leave and join, yeah.
Do this one?
Yep.
All right, well, I'll keep it.
All right.
Join, yeah.
The end. There we go.
Thanks for your patience.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
It's not you.
It's not you today.
15 minutes.
Cares. Oh, let me enable that.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're fine.
Security.
All good.
Yeah, what do you say? If you could ask other people in this room about their last.
Share.
Yep. Start down.
Yep.
Okay, there.
Thanks. It's worth it.
There we go. Thank you guys. Let's see, hold on one second. My name is Wendell Williams, Laurie McFarland, Chair and Vice Chair of the Moab Tourism Advisory Board. And today we just want to go over quickly kind of what we did in 2025 and also the opportunity to talk a little bit about the Moab Office of Tourism. It's a small office and they don't have a director right now. They don't really have the opportunity to talk to you directly often. So I'm just going to go over some of the things they've done this past year. And I'm going to try and keep it short because I know you have a lot going on tonight. So really quickly, I'm just going to start with why tourism matters. I think we all know that, but some people need a refresher that our economy runs on tourism. We are a town of under 10,000 people, and yet we enjoy kind of a lot of the services and amenities that towns much greater than us. We've got a great hospital, we've got a great library, we've got the pool and recreation center. And so, you know, tourism dollars don't just go into the pockets of tourism operators, they go into the entire community. I just need kind of a little refresher that, you know, our county relies on tourism dollars. Obviously, it's a lot of money. It's about $456.6 million in 2024 on direct visitor spending in Grant County. About 3,500 jobs are related to tourism in Grant County, and the sales tax revenues at almost $20 million. Yet we've seen a sales tax revenue trend adjusted for inflation. Over the last couple of years, we've seen that declining, and obviously it's unsustainable. We want to make sure that our economy is moving forward. I'll get to the 2025 number where you see it's kind of a little bit going up a little bit. I'm going to get to that a little bit later. But who we are, MTAB is the Moab Tourism Advisory Board. We are an advisory board required by the state to provide recommendations on the use of TRT and TRCCA taxes. It's a 9-member board. It was previously 7, and then in July, HB 456 allowed us to have the Moab City become a voting member, which was previously a liaison. There are restrictions on who can be members, and so we all represent the tourism community. Currently, the composition is 1 TRT, 4 TRCCA, 1 cultural recreational, 1 from the Chamber of Commerce, 1 from Moab City. We have Brian Martinez, who is our non-voting representative as a Grant County Commissioner. Currently have 1 vacancy, and that is on the agenda tonight to address that vacancy. Our mission is, I don't know how I get rid of this, is really quite simple. It's to advise in the strategic investment of tourism taxes, build a sustainable economy, promote responsible visitation, and ensure that the tourism benefits the entire Moab community by supporting local businesses, creating job opportunities, and investing in infrastructure and essential services. Our objectives are really just, you know, we're a voluntary board. We provide recommendations. We want to support the Moab Office of Tourism, support the Moab Monument Film Commission to make sure that they have the resources available to grow our tax revenues so that we can continue to sustain the services that residents, visitors, and businesses rely on. I know that Bea has talked to you directly, but I wanted to just reiterate that the Moab Monument Film Commission is the longest continuously operating film commission in the world and delivers significant economic and informational value to Grant County and the surrounding areas. However, our top priority is mitigation. And if I can get rid of this somehow, I can. I want to get rid of it. Maybe get rid of it. Also,
As long as it doesn't.
I can't read any. How do I get rid of this? Do you know? Minimize. There we go.
There you go.
Moab Tourism Advisory Board believes that responsible tourism management requires dedicated, adequate resources to mitigate the impacts of visitation. Our law enforcement, emergency, and essential services provide invaluable service to our community and deserve the funding and support necessary to perform their functions safely and effectively. And this is something that our board is unanimous on more than anything, that we believe that we want to support mitigation. And that's why our
top priority. I think it's important to, particularly for the public, to understand that TRT is a voluntary tax. It's an optional tax that the county and Grant counties opted to enact and to levy the maximum amount available. However, counties may use up to 100% of that tax on promotion, and many counties actually do use all that money on promotion. There is a requirement by the state that a certain amount of that money be used on promotion. However, we as a board made a very conscious decision to recommend to you, the commission, that the maximum allowable amount of money for mitigation be used, and that's 55.6% to pay for mitigation costs. And in 2026, this represents about $4.5 million for Grant County's law enforcement, emergency, and essential services. To quickly recap 2025, new names, the Moab Office of Tourism was previously called the Moab Area Travel Council / Grant County Economic Development Department. Kind of a mouthful. And you approved the change to the Moab Office of Tourism, which is really more clarity for the public, and it aligns with modern destination management. You also approved our name change as a board. It was previously the Travel Council Advisory Board, or TCAB. We changed it to the Moab Tourism Advisory Board to be more in line with the Moab Office of Tourism. Speaking of them, it is a very small office. I don't think the public really understands it's a really small office that does a lot of work. But I think it was important to just outline some of the things. So there's been a lot of information and confusion in the public about what we're paying our agencies, what they provide, and what services they provide. And so for the public, I just wanted to kind of outline, I'm not going to go through it, but to really outline what paid media means, what earned media means, and what creative services mean, so that there's less confusion. One of the first initiatives we did this last year as a board is we created an application process for TRT. This was more for you as a commission to make it more transparent and accountable, so that you can see who's applying, what they're applying for, whether it be promotion or mitigation, also for the public to see, so there's more transparency, and there's a paper trail. So now when we provide our recommendations to you, it's based on applications that were received. First year was a bit rough because it was the first year, but now we have a process in place, and hopefully it'll be easier for you next year when you're making those decisions. Grants, we've increased the special events marketing grants to $250,000. Reason being is we want to encourage a wider range of events to support cultural events, educational events, and more importantly, shoulder season events. So you don't see these upticks in these events happening in spring and then nothing happening in fall. So we're trying to spread it out across the year. It attracts new and first-time events by lowering financial barriers. Some of them don't really have marketing budgets, so that by having matching funds, it allows them to be smaller and newer events, and supports economic diversification. Gravel guides, something again you approved. This is more in keeping with many of our competitive markets already have them, and so we're just want to be competitive in that market space in the mountain biking arena. We have a new website. This was launched in 2025, and again, this will change. This is just a new website that the Moab Office of Tourism launched. It will change with the branding efforts that are going on, but it does have a new travel AI widget. And what that allows is for our marketing agencies to get a sense of what people are looking for, what type of experiences they're looking for, how long they're here to stay, so that they can make better marketing decisions. New billboards. This was in response to actually this commission. One of the first initiatives that you enacted in 2025 was to make sure that all marketing had a welcoming message, which we thought was very important. We got feedback externally that people were not feeling that they were being welcomed, and it was more of a kind of educational rather than welcoming message. So this was just a stopgap measure to make sure we were in compliance with your directive of having a welcome message. Obviously, this also will change to be more in line with what the new branding will be. Just an overview of what the Moab Office of Tourism is doing. I didn't even know they had hosted over 90 travel people from all over the world this last year. They've been partnering with the Utah Office of Tourism, and they have relationships worldwide. So we're making sure we strengthen that partnership. New creative, who is Moab? This is actually really exciting. Moab is not just about red rocks and arches and adventure. It's about the people who make up Moab. And this was again approved by the commission. It's a 4-part mini documentary series highlighting some of the people in Moab. We're excited to bring this to life and bring it to market as part of the marketing campaign. You also approved the budget for the media, new public relations and branding agency for last year. I'm just going to go through that very quickly. It was an arduous process. Many of you in this room participated. And as you know, that while we had 83 applications, some of those applications included 30-page presentations. We had to do thousands of pages of presentations. It was long. And it was not done behind closed doors with just by the Moab Office of Tourism, but 2 people. It actually had, we had people from communication and comms administration, we had commissioners, we had lots of people involved. So I just wanted the public to know that these really important decisions were not made by 2 people at the Moab Office of Tourism, but by across Grand County. And the agencies are Madden. Madden is our media agency of record. They represent over 280 destination marketing organizations worldwide. They are truly a leader in this space, and we're so excited to work with them, and they've been such a great job. Camp Stories, as our PR firm, they are, again, only working in the travel and tourism industry, so we have very specific work from them. And our branding agency, Camp 4 and Tourist, combination of 2 agencies, the people behind them were responsible for the Mighty 5 campaign, as well as the Road to Mighty campaign. So we are just so excited to have this level of expertise representing us. Again, it's an office of 3 people, so we need these agencies to help represent us in the world effectively. Some results. I'm only going to show you July through December, only because we had a new media agency come in the middle of the year, and I can quantify those results. So we went from having 5 ads previously that were created by with our previous media agency to over 500 ads created in this last year. Huge jump. Over 30 media channels and over 1 million active users, 175 million impressions. Key here, so this 30,000 room nights represents only those rooms where people actually clicked and they were able to follow them all the way through to booking a room. This does not include any of the people who saw an ad, saw a social media campaign, saw a video, and booked because of that. This is literally from this campaign that they are able to quantify those. So we really had over $10 million in economic impact. In terms of public relations, people are going to write about Moab. They are going to write about Moab however they want to, but we would like to help control that narrative. That way we're not surprised. So our public relations agency is really good at putting stories out there and helping shape what people are talking about so that we are not surprised. We got coverage in the Wall Street Journal, Comes Mass Traveler, Outside Magazine, over 1.8 million online coverage views, 22 pieces were online. But it's not just about promoting Moab, it's also about proactive communication. And I think the best example of this was during the government shutdown. Melissa Jeffers, always great at getting factual information out there. We were able to cut through all the misinformation that was out in the marketplace because a lot of people were putting information out there that was not really factual about our parks and about parks being open. And so one accurate story that was repeated nationally, we were able to correct the information, protect visitation and our local economy during the shutdown. And here, basically, part of the remit of our agencies is not about more tourists. It's about spreading that tourism across into shoulder seasons and across the year. It's also about, I think we've all heard when people come here, they say, wow, I had no idea. I didn't know you had this. I didn't know I had this. And so I wish I knew because then I would have spent more time here. I would have cut my trip short there. So part of that agency work is to manage those expectations and get people to understand what is here so that we turn a 1-night visit into 2 or 2-night visit into 3. So it's not more visitors, it's trying to lengthen the stay of those visitors and across the year. One of the examples with this campaign, the Festive Tree Holiday Lights campaign, 14 target markets, over 500,000 estimated digital and social media impressions. This was a campaign promoting the lighting of the tree and our holiday lights. It was picked up in media around the world. It was paid media, but also got picked up elsewhere. Some of them talking about the best city in every state to celebrate Christmas and holiday events around the country. Really excited about how that was done. And again, bringing tourism in a month where we don't typically have a lot of visitors. And I think we all remember December was very busy, not necessarily because of this. There was a lot of lack of snow. So a lot of people came here, but we'd like to think that it's also part of the results of some of the campaigns they were working on. I've already talked about the Film Commission very briefly. But I just want to highlight, and I know she's talked to you, some of the work that BIGA does with bringing in big movies like Godzilla versus King Kong, commercials, reality TV programming, and just the economic impact that that one person office kind of brings to our community. So talking about 2026, I'm wrapping it up. We in 2025 kind of laid a foundation. We built the infrastructure, we got our measurement systems in place, we selected our strategic partners, and we have our baseline data that we are collecting to benchmark effectiveness. This year, we are launching targeted campaigns using our insights from last year. We're tracking performance in real time. We're adjusting our spending towards the highest ROI channels that Madden has been able to provide to us and publicly what's working, what's not, so that they can adjust our spending so we get what's maximum for us. And then in the future, it's about intentional visitation. It's about attracting visitors who align with our community values. It's growing a permission-based visitor relationship, meaning that we don't want to just put the message up, come to Moab. We don't just want a mass of people. We want people to understand what's here, guide them into certain seasons, guide them in terms of the experiences so we can avoid bottlenecks. And then more value, less impact tourism working for the community. We're seeing results. So earlier I talked about how the decline in adjusted for inflation in our sales tax revenues. You can see the blue line in December. Basically that's representing October. So 2 months behind with TRT reporting. And that was when the government shutdown was, but that's also when our campaigns truly started to take effect. So it's a combination of both those factors. But if you look, it continues above 2023 and 2024 for the rest of the year. Whereas before we were underperforming for the previous part of the year. So we're starting to already see results now. And I'm summing it up now. Wrapping it up. Just to sum it up, Grant County has fewer than 10,000 residents, yet our community enjoys the services and amenities of several times of cities, several times our size. When we invest our TRT dollars strategically, it will attract visitors aligned with our culture and objectives and ensure the benefits outweigh the pain points. Residents receive a rural community experience with metropolitan-sized amenities made possible by visitor spending. I'd like to conclude by just thanking the commission really for your emphasis in trying to turn our economy around and focus on our economy, on TRT, on TRCCA, and our sales tax revenues, so that we continue to enjoy the benefits of the amenities and services that our county has and that we rely on. I'd like to thank Commissioner Martinez, who's our liaison this past year, who's been fantastic, particularly with HB 456 and navigating that for us. Early in the year, we had to make some really hard decisions with regard to our media agency. It was not an easy decision, and you helped drive that. And I think all of us can now understand that that was the right strategic decision. And just for your help this last year, but really to all of you for kind of putting the economy back in the forefront so that we can make sure we have an economy that's working for our entire community.
Thank you. All right, do we have any questions for the commission?
Yeah.
I love those metrics on where you can see they book the room all the way through from the ad to the room.
Please, I don't have that here.
Okay. I love seeing that you can track from booking a room from an ad all the way to it booking a room, and those factual hard numbers. And I love seeing that, not just hopes.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that we are so happy with what we've gotten from Madden, because they're able to look at what's performing and what's not and change accordingly, depending on season, who we want to attract, when we want to attract them. So yeah.
Very well done. Really appreciate it. That's a great presentation for sure. And I like the way that office is working with the board. Seems like that there's been a real continuity between you guys, and McAnally and Biga back there, and I think that's great, just seeing everybody working together and moving forward, so just wanna.
Well, again, we're just a volunteer board, we're just people, we make recommendations to you. We try and take information, distill it down so that you guys can make those decisions and you're the ones ultimately doing the work. So we're just a board who makes recommendations. We've been trying to help the Moab Office of Tourism. We don't direct them. But we have been trying to help them out this past year, but you guys are doing the decision making, so I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, just perfect. You ended on a thank you note, right? No, I want to thank both of you guys, because as you mentioned, as Bill mentioned, the synergy between the board and the Office of Tourism, I think, has allowed us to do a lot of things. And then just on top of that, the amount of work that you guys have put in as volunteers on this board has been incredible. When you went through that list of all the agencies and everything, any one of those right there would be something that I think that most people would be proud of to say that they did in a year. And I mean, you have 10 to 15 accomplishments that you guys have made together with the board. It is impressive. So thank you guys.
Absolutely, thank you. Okay, our next presentation is the USU Extension report.
Corey Farnsworth, USU Extension. I send most of you emails. You probably mostly know who I am. I've been to some of your houses, checking on your trees, been in meetings with you. This is really just about, I had someone approach me about community members asking why they fund USU. And so I just want to tell you a little bit about USU Extension, how we're funded. So first thing is we're different than USU. We're an extension of USU. I'll get into that. In 1862, Congress passed the Morrill Act, which is the act that created land-grant universities for each state. Now, these land-grant universities are charged with increasing education in the community. So not just people who enroll in college and enroll in classes, but people in the community, period. And that was something that was important to President Lincoln at the time. In 1914, Smith and Lever Act was passed, which establishes extension as the service that extends that knowledge at those land-grant universities. And extension is just that. It's how we extend that information, practical knowledge, agriculture, home ec, mechanics, etc., to local communities. In Utah, the land-grant university is Utah State University. And we are a cooperative agreement through USDA, Utah State University, the state and local and county governments. It's available in every county across the United States, including in territories such as Puerto Rico. There's extension agents in all those places. The counties provide the operating budget of extension, which usually includes some office personnel salaries, staff assistants, 4-H program coordinators, etc. But it's mostly the operating budget, while USU mainly supplies buildings, salaries to some of their employees. In Grant County, extension includes the agriculture agent, which is myself. I'm over agriculture, horticulture, and natural resources. A home and community agent, which is Maria sitting back here in the second row on my right. And that's the family and consumer sciences side of things. And then we have a 4-H and youth development program. And that's Isabel. She was unable to make it tonight. She's got a fair board meeting coming up that she's preparing for. So I'm not going to go into a whole lot of depth on how we split out the funding and salaries and everything. But what I will say is the county provides $79,786 for our operating budget every year. USU provides $146,045 to our budget and our operating salaries and those kind of things. Not to mention the building, which doesn't have an amount on it. And a lot of counties, the county provides the building as well. So we're lucky in that aspect. And then on top of that, we have grants and programs that create some revenue for other programs and research that we do. So for every $1 Grand County invests in USU Extension here, we are able to acquire $8.86. So that's a good investment. An extension in our office alone, with myself, Maria and Isabel, we reach on average 2,900 individuals in our community every year on specific topics. And that might be a tree, that might be canning, that might be public health, that might be an insect, that might be a 4-H program. Currently with our 4-H program, it runs on volunteers, and we just barely, our 4-H program coordinator is relatively new. So we're trying to rebuild that program again. Currently, we have 8 volunteers, 37 youth. Half of those youth are Hispanic or Native American. Currently, we have a horsemanship club, cookies and crafts. There was an upcycling with sewing and uniting cultures clubs. 4-H participants are 2 times more likely to demonstrate ready for work skills, 3 times more likely to show leadership skills, 88% more likely to possess problem-solving skills, and 90% more likely to help their community than just the average youth. In our home community programs, we focus on nutrition and wellness, community health workers programs, youth prevention such as Escape the Vape, health and wellness access, home buyer programs, freeze dryers, etc. In agriculture, natural resources, I have a master gardener class. I teach a range camp for youth. I focus on gardening, soil health, pesticide safety, pest problems, farming and ranching education, and more. Any questions for you all, from you all?
No, thank you for all your work and all of the things that USU Extension does.
We're here for you guys. So if you guys have other needs that we're not addressing, do you feel like we'd be a good niche for? We're available for that. We're here for the public. We're here for the people who live here. And that includes everybody.
One more.
Go ahead.
I've yet to sign up for some of your welding classes, but I will be there.
So yeah, welding is the USU program,
Yeah.
and not the extension,
Yeah.
but yes.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Good.
Okay.
Thanks, Corey.
Okay, so we will move into our general business action items and discussion, consideration of approval. First of all, we have commission member disclosures and future considerations.
My wife works for the sheriff's department.
Terry?
My son works for Sandhouse.
Anybody else? Any
Future considerations. So my understanding is that Commissioner Martinez and Commissioner Winfield went to DC recently. I saw a kind of a skeletal report in your last, in the last commission packet. And I would recommend that just for the community that you guys maybe do like a 5-minute summary during the next meeting, just kind of where you guys went, who you met with, what your objectives were. I think that's okay.
Okay. We have time tonight, maybe they could.
Okay,
We'll
yeah,
see.
yeah, we'll see.
Up to them. Okay,
Sounds good.
all right, any other future considerations? All right, so
You have one?
go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I'd just like to get an update from GCAT on where we're at with the Spanish Valley Trail, and just kind of see where we're at and what we can do to maybe get that moving along a little bit quicker.
And
I think
then
that's been on our list anyways.
I just want to make note of one thing. I know that several were very concerned about the Kempsey Gardner Institute study. We did have that on the agenda as an update, and it was pulled, I believe, by Commissioner Hadler. I'm not really sure what the story was there, but I think for the public, I think at some point we do need to have that update, because I think tonight would have been better than having, once again, next week, they'll be back wondering why we
I
didn't
think that's
give
good.
them an update. So.
I think that'd be great.
Sure.
Yes.
Just a disclosure, I believe my wife is on one of the consent agenda board seats for the fair or the rodeo, whichever one it is. I think it's a 1-person position, but just disclosing that my wife is Melissa Stocks.
Okay. All right. I think there's 2 spots open and 2 people on there maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but she is one of them.
yes.
Okay. Thank you. So we'll move on to the consent agenda, the approval of consent agenda items. So we have the meeting minutes of March 3rd, 2026. The ratification of payment of bills, total bills of $1,192,000 $463.82. Total payroll of $160,521.64 with a total bills and payroll of $1,352,985.46. C is the ratification of the letter of support for the USU 4-H program award nomination application. D, ratification of the CoStar license agreement. E, ratification of the letter of support for the BLM's RTP grant application. F is the ratification of a letter supporting the city of Maude's grant request to rebuild the Pack Creek footbridge. G, motorized recreational trail program grant and commission letter of support. H, Caterpillar 938 front end loader buyback and roll forward for a new loader. I is the independent contract agreements for the 2026 Grand County Fair for playback party band. J, independent contract agreements for the 2026 Grand County Fair for elite events. K is the board member application considerations for the Grand County Fair Board. L, independent contract agreements for the 2026 Grand County Fair for Ruby Unicorn and Pony Ride. M is the independent contract agreement for the 2026 Grand County Fair for Parentis Rodeo Company. And N is legal services from Eric Clark, Utah County, the Utah Association of Counties Attorney.
Motion to approve.
Motion from Bill Winfield, second by Brian Martinez. All in favor? And that passes unanimously. Moving on to special events marketing grants. That was the, I don't know if Wendell is still here or if we're just, Commissioner Martinez will walk
Yeah, I
us through
can,
this.
I can go ahead and present real quick. Give me
Okay.
just 1 second.
Wendell is he is here. Oh, he's Wendell? If you want to come up, or if you have any questions or.
So,
I wasn't on the subcommittee, Brian was, so
Okay,
I can explain.
yeah,
what it is.
and I wasn't involved with the subcommittee, but I did pop in a couple of times just to see how things are going. So first off, I'm just going to read a little bit about what this grant is so that we kind of have an understanding. So the Grand County Special Events Marketing Grant aims to strengthen the county's event landscape by expanding the diversity, scale, and promotional reach of local events by encouraging a broader, more diverse calendar of events. This is a cooperative marketing grant. The grant provides funding exclusively for marketing expenses and operates as a one-to-one cash match. It's a reimbursement program. For example, if an organization puts out is granted $500, they'll need to have invoices totaling $1,000, and that must be submitted. Funds will be reimbursed only after the grantee has demonstrated, documented, and paid marketing expenditures. And in-kind contributions such as donated service, voluntary time, non-cash promotions don't qualify toward the required match and then will not be considered. So the first grant, this grant right here, is for events taking place between January 1st and December 31st, 2026. And then they'll have to have their grants completed by March 1st, 2026. Or the applications for this, came in March 1st, 2026. We will be having a second round as well, just to let folks know if they're interested in these. And that will be for events that will be taking place July 1st and ending June 30th. And the applications for that will be due May 1st for that little organization. Funds for this are exclusively to be used to promote the event, to potential visitors through marketing and advertising events. And let's see here, there are some expenses that do not qualify. Let's see here, funds may not be used for event programs, for infrastructure, for venue banners, signage, prize money, or competition. Also, they can't be used for operations, for travel, for ads, for local ads or content creation. Those are some things that have happened right here. We go back to what we got here on from the board. So the subcommittee went through and they were pretty rigorous about going through these grant applications. There was 2 that they had some questions on. So they submitted that, or they presented that to the MTAB board last week. And then the MTAB board came forward with the recommendations that you saw. There was a little bit of confusion in the packet right there with the way that it was updated from the board recommendation to what the subcommittee had recommended. So I can answer a couple of questions on that. If you guys have any questions.
I think that citizens might know about like to know about the museum.
Museum? Yeah, so so the museum was one event that got pulled off of the recommendations there. And we had a discussion at the MTAB board. And the reason is these grants are set to, they're not set to promote any individual business, they're set to promote an event. And inside of the application, it appeared that this was to promote the museum as a whole and not the quincentennial events that they had. So after discussion in the MTAB discussion, I think that they recommended 4,535 for the museum. If you guys are okay, I could probably go ahead and make a motion for all of this as we go on through. Let's see here. Oh, they didn't have a, so I move to approve the Moab Tourism Advisory Board recommendations for the special events matching grants in the amounts specified, including Jenkstar, the building man, so an additional 2,750, and then for Outer Bike at 5,000, and then for the Moab Museum at 4,535.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? I watched the meeting this morning and so everything makes a lot of sense as far as why I agree that we should. I think the only one they left out of funding was the building man in Green River. And they had a great plan for advertising. It does bring people into our county. So I think that it's well worth it. And then the Outer Bike one, it's just the fact that they had approved saying that pending an update. And I don't think I think the idea was it's not necessarily fair to let somebody update their application when you don't let everybody update their applications. And the good thing about Outer Bike is they'll be able to apply in that second round, the one that's in May, so they can get it. And so I think that's why the $5,000 is appropriate, because they had only $10,000 on their application. So I'm in favor of. But Mike.
I'm definitely in favor of this just because I really like hearing that it's directed marketing outside of Grand County, not any internal marketing that is directly bringing guests and tourists to our area of these events.
Yeah, and I can just speak a little bit to it. It does have three goals, I think, that we would say is one is, as was stated earlier, it does expand that season. So we are trying to find events that we can come in to expand our season. It does help us extend our reach by offering these matching grants, extending the reach of our TRT dollars. And it is helping out a lot of local events that are here as well. So it's helping the community that puts on events. So I think it's
and potential first-time events too, who may not have had the financial resources to market effectively, but with this grant, we're hoping to even smaller events that we can help them.
Yeah. As an event host in a lot of other places, I know that first and second event is some of your hardest. If you can get by those, you're a lot more capable in going forward. So I like seeing that.
And this grant right here, oh, sorry, sure.
Go ahead.
That this grant right here was partially responsible for bringing in the vacation races, which will be a big event in the off season. So it did accomplish one of its goals.
And so then, Commissioner, just clarifying it, so the application or the document that's attached to the packet lists out all of the funding amounts. The edits would be as follows: Outer Bike would change to 5,000, Building Man would increase to
2,750,
and then the museum would
4,535.
the remaining items stays the same.
Correct. Thank you for the clarification.
Okay, any other discussion? I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion? Okay, that passes unanimously. Thank you. Thanks, Linda. Yeah.
I'll stay here for the next one.
Okay, next one, okay. So the appointment lined up with board member to the Moab Tourism Advisory Board. You want to talk about this? Or do you want to-
Basically, we, as I discussed earlier, that it was a 7-person board, and then with the passage of HB 456, we were able to include Moab City, which was formerly a liaison to the board, as a voting member. What that did is made the board member 8, and after advice or speaking with the county attorney, we all decided that it was better to have an odd numbered board rather than even, and so we elected to have a 9-member board. Application's been out there for some time. We only had one applicant for a long time, and that person, unfortunately, after we placed the recommendation, was no longer employed by, was no longer eligible for TRT, which this person has to be TRT. And so we interviewed those that appeared last week in our Moab Tourism Advisory Board. We came to a unanimous decision on our recommendation, which would be Felicia.
Thank you.
And one note on this, I believe they received a number of applicants. Unfortunately, you individuals didn't show up for the interview timely. I don't think they showed up at all during the meeting. There was a conversation about that as well. Individuals that apply, given the date to show up in time to be interviewed. So we did want to note that for the commission as well.
But we did submit all of the applications for the board to be able to review, including additional information, I think, that was provided by one of them, but you have all of the applications available to you.
Okay, Commissioner Hadler.
I just wanted to make a correction that it was the commission, it was this body that decided to make it a 9-person board in a vote. Last summer after the passage of HB 456.
Okay. All right, do we have anybody who would like to make a motion? Go ahead, Mary.
I would make a motion to appoint Alicia Batty to the Moab Tourism Advisory Board for the 4-year term ending December 31st, 2030.
Okay, and Commissioner McCurdy, a second. Any discussion?
I just have to say she represents a host of hotels in Moab, so 4 different hotels. So she'll bring a lot of expertise to our board.
Great. Did you have a comment, Commissioner Martinez?
No, just that we had a lot of good applicants again. And just moving in the future, it would be nice if we had some way to contact some of the applicants, because we had different applicants from the first round that did not apply for that second round right there.
One other clarification. So it's the intent of the body to make sure that this individual begins serving immediately and will serve roughly 4 years and however many months between now and the end of the year. So it's going to be more than a 4-year term. Just noting that for the commission. The motion does say a 4-year term, but I think the idea is for a term ending December 31st, 2030.
4 plus.
4 plus. Well, 4 plus.
Is that because this the term finishes in just a couple of months and we're just rolling it into one?
Well, this is a new term, but they roll and end at the end of the year for sanity's sake for everyone, because to track board seats that don't end at the beginning of the year would be a universal nightmare. But this is a new seat that was created. If the intent is for the individual to begin serving now, then that's naturally where that would normally end, would be on that December period. Unless the board, or unless the commission wanted to shorten it. But I think it would be probably a little bit more difficult. It's better that it ends in the cycle that we've suggested. But the language does say 4-year term, but it's going to be longer than 4 years. So that's what I'm pointing out in this section.
Does that fall in line with all the other ones as they go?
Yeah, we normally don't appoint, we're normally not appointing individuals mid-year, and normally we're going for whatever it is. When we appoint in January, we're really getting people on for like 3 years, 11 months, and however many days. And then we end at the end of that 4-year cycle. So this is a nuance. It's a newer position. It was created. That's why likely it's falling in this kind of different setting. So it's a 4.5-year commitment term. So the applicant, hopefully they're in for the excitement of the whole time.
4.5 years.
Good. Okay. Any more discussion? Go ahead and call for a vote. All in favor of Mary's. Aye. Okay, that passes unanimously 7-0. Thank you, Ms. Wendell. So moving on to approval of the certified training and structural inspection on the SL 100 mobile stage with the Stage Line Mobile Stage. Angela Book, our Old Spanish Trail Arena Director.
Hello. So tonight I am bringing to the commission a request for funding for certification and the inspection of our mobile stage, the SL 100. And it would be in the amount of $9,630.
Questions
Go for
or
it.
comments, because it's not, but not within budget.
No. It was
Me.
put on it doesn't have its own
I know,
category, so it was put on
right,
like those separate list and
yeah.
to bring.
I'm just wondering if we can be somewhat creative paying for this. So one, the city, right, we bought this in partnership with the city. We get the city to pay for half of it. I don't know. And or, we use it for special events. So I'm just throwing out some ideas here. So, is it feasible that it can be paid for? Yeah, some TRT. Anyways, I'm just trying to throw out some ideas. I realize, and I guess my last question, it'd be great.
I would go, I think the majority of the events that are utilizing this, they're behind the rock, what's the one called Behind the Rocks? That we transported south of town.
Out at Red Cliffs.
There's the Red Cliffs one, but there's another one.
The festival,
Yes.
the folk festival, the free music, series that's at Swanee Park.
County Fair as well.
County Fair.
Right.
I think those are those.
And there's a few OSA events that were to us.
And what has happened historically, we had, I think it was 4 individuals that were originally certified to be able to operate the hydraulic lifts due to safety concerns, insurance coverage, etc. Those 2 people were city county. Things have happened. We don't have access to all 4 of the original people that were certified.
Correct.
They also have to transport, they have to leave and go help set up that stage where
They also have to be able to have a vehicle that's large enough to tow it.
Right.
And these are larger scale
Correct.
events and items.
And be capable to tow the vehicle. It's large.
Yeah.
Mike has a comment. Go ahead, Mike.
To continue use of this stage, we have to have certified personnel, right?
Right.
Yeah. Right after Mary.
Okay, Mary, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just want some clarification. You were asking where it could be paid from, and you mentioned TRT. And then you were talking about it being events. So in that process, what is your opinion on, is this justifiable use to use TRT funds to pay for this?
I think this is something that you look at the type of events that are doing it. I think there's a distinction between utilizing the certification and times and hours for free event concert series. I think it's harder to make the argument that the free event concert series are really bringing people outside in. I think there's a better argument if you're looking at events that are bringing and drawing
Like
individuals.
the
from
music festival and folk festival and the one that's. So could we
Break it down.
break it down so that a percent is paid for out of TRT? Could we do something of that nature? I maybe this is something we need to work out. And bring it back and then say, yes, we need to do this, and then you know what I'm saying, figure out how to pay for it. Sit down and do some creative and looking at it and work with Gabe and the people that work with and figure out how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's ongoing. We're gonna have to continue to have this kind of training year after year after year. So we need to figure out where that is gonna be paid from and
Have we talked to the city?
decide. And the other thing is, maybe even charging more for stage, but at the moment, we have a decision to make as if we're going to give her the money. And I think Mike was first.
Yes.
Brian had his hand up and then Trish. Go ahead, Mike.
Or 2, taking in what everyone said, nothing bad was said in my eyes. But to actually continue using it, we need the training now. And I know that, so I move to approve the certified training and structural inspection with Stage Line Mobile Stage in the amount of $9,630.
Commissioner Hadler seconds.
Could you add something to say, determining where the money will come from will be brought back to the county?
I like a future consideration or future discussion on where this funding comes from. But we need to get it done anyway.
Oh, I
So,
know, but
yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out how to add that to the motion. To say,
Just pan it.
with,
So there are a couple facts on that. The stage is set up to where it could be wrapped. So we could put some type of advertisement on it, advertising Grant County, special events, whatever we want to put on it. I don't know if that helped, but just a thought to throw out there, if that helps with anything along those lines, but it does have the option to have a wrap put on it. Throwing that out there. And the certified training as far as staff, we only have to do that as staff needs to be changed out or how that happens. I do plan on with this certification, spreading it through departments. So I have reached out to other departments with longevity to have that spread out. So it's not just in one department. And then the structural inspection only has to be done every 2 years. So it won't be every year.
okay, Brian,
Okay, so to answer your guys' question, moving forward, this is not an allowable expense. So this would fall under a subsection 3B under the HB 456. Which would be conventions, exhibit halls, visitor information centers, museums, sports recreation facilities, including practice fields, stadiums, arenas, and trails. Specifically to pay for tourism or recreation-related facilities in the county, including acquiring, leasing, furnishing, maintaining, or operating. So it's under that M&O for 3B. So it would be in competition with your mitigation. Going backwards, it would qualify under the rec, film, and conventions. So on a previous, it would qualify under the recreation, film, and convention, which was the 1/5 of the 37% that was an allowable use. Right now, I've been working with Gabe to try to come up with what that balance is that we have in the makeup of our reserves of that TRT, rec, film, and conventions. And we could consider, once we have that balance, this one of those expenses. From my understanding, we might need to look at it. I've also been working with Mr. Stocks to try to make sure that we're within our lane to be doing that. So I think that possibly, moving forward, we could be looking at using this for a rec, film, and convention, but moving into the future, I think that we're going to need to find another way to fund this, as the new HB 456 is not going to allow for that type of expense.
so what you're saying is, presently, we could pay for it but in the future, we won't be able to, but for this one time, we could. Is that what you're saying?
So if in our reserve account of TRT, we have a set amount of rec, film, and convention left inside there, we could use that rec, film, and convention from our reserve account for this. However, the new TRT that's coming in under HB 456, so anything that was collected starting July 1st of last year moving forward is not an eligible, this would not be an eligible use for those funds.
Trish. So, yeah, I mean, I'm more than happy to, I understand we definitely need this certification. I understand all that. I'm happy to vote for it, but I think if we can find pockets of money to pay for it, if it's currently out of that, that's great. And then in the future, I do think we need to approach the city. It's a small ask, right? In the future, you're saying it might be $6,000 next year because we don't have to do the inspection. I think we can approach the city and I think they can jump in. Because they do use that stage quite a bit, and that was the original deal, right? That we were supposed to
And it's
be a partnership.
staff
Yeah.
running their event.
Yeah. So I'd like to see that.
Okay,
Would you
Commissioner.
like to see me approaching them or how would you?
I will. Okay, you will. Okay, thanks, Mel. And I'm like, I could do it too, but yeah, if you want to do it, that'd be good. Thank you. I appreciate
And
that.
I would assume you'd be able to maximize the number of participants at four for this, so that it said 2 to 4 trainees.
Yeah, it's up to 4 people.
Yeah.
And they're really strict on that. Yeah.
So if you had all 4 participate, then would you have, is it my understanding you'd have 5 certified people who could?
I only have 1 certified.
Exactly, so if you had 4, then you'd be able to.
Yes, I would have 5.
Great.
It would be 4 within OSTA and then 1 within county maintenance.
Bill, go ahead.
My question is along a different line, and maybe it's more for admin, but for you, but you say that a vehicle is required to pull this. Are you or is somebody making sure that when we hook up to a county piece of equipment, that insurance, that we're not just letting anybody tow this off? That's not.
Correct. It's only a county vehicle towing it.
Thank
And it's only county employees towing it.
Okay, Stephen.
Just for clarification, we do have the time and the cost for them put into the fee schedule for OSTA, and we charge that amount, right?
For the stage?
For the stage.
Yeah, yes, it is
Right.
separate. It's not under OSTA, it's separate. The stage is completely separate.
One thing to look also would be the amount of money that's received under that amount to see if it's helping or self-sustaining for future training amounts. Just
Yeah, and I mentioned that to admin, so I think they're gonna look at that as well. And
And I've
next,
sent those numbers over.
Brian is next, I think. Oh, Mike already.
Mine got answered.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, just looking at that conversation that you'll have with the city. Would it be reasonable to ask the city to provide an employee, maybe a long-standing employee as well?
No, it is so
Train?
complicated and we've tried that and it can not come back. The way it went out.
Got it.
Yeah, it's so easily could be. It's okay. Messed up. And then it could put events in jeopardy, and for it to be repaired, it has to go to Canada virtually.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All
right.
Quick question.
Go ahead.
So a couple years ago, Angie, you were doing a cleaning or something. I remember you invited commissioners out to check it out, to see how it got set up, and I attended that. That was awesome and super informative. So maybe if you
Yeah,
could.
and we're gonna be doing that again soon.
Awesome.
Probably after Jeep Safari,
Mhm.
just getting it cleaned up after the winter and getting everything
Maintained.
and oiled and all that fun stuff. So I could send that out again to comm admin and they could send it, let you know when we'll be doing that.
Okay, thank you. So we do have a motion and a second for funding of the certifications of cultural, all in favor? That passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have our treasurer, Chris Kaufman, approving additions to the 2025 property tax abatements and cancellations. Hi, Chris Kaufman.
Hello, good evening. Thank you. Again, yeah, I'm here to present additional abatements and cancellations for last year. In October, I brought everything that I had to you for approval prior to the sending out of the tax bills. We always get a few more coming in after that, and this is just approving that as well. So the impact is just spread across all of the taxing entities, about 36,000. About 7.5 of that will be reimbursed by the state, or actually already has been, for a final impact of about 28,000. And I've detailed in your packet all the various cancellations and abatements that are there, and I'm happy to entertain any questions.
Mike and then Bill.
Mine's pretty easy here. I move to approve the additional 2025 property tax abatements and cancellations as presented.
Second.
And sorry, comment also.
Go ahead.
It made it easy when you said a handful of additional real and personal property abatements for disabled veterans, active duty military, disabled low-income individuals, and low-income seniors were accepted. So made it pretty easy on my mind.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, so this is the program right here that I believe it was it HB 78
Yeah,
here was looking to modify right here, so
correct.
happy that we're able to move forward. And see these abatements.
At least for another year.
Another year.
Thanks for your work on that.
Right, okay, all those in favor? That passes unanimously, thank you.
Thank you.
Chris. Okay, 7 is with our Personnel Services Director, Tess Berger, and Stephen Stocks, our county attorney, for the resolutions amending employee handbook. The hotline.
Okay, great. Good evening, everybody. We are presenting our item finally, which is a fairly comprehensive update to our current employee handbook. The last time there was an update to the employee handbook was actually in 2014. There have, of course, been changes made since then in the form of resolutions. But this is the first time that the document in whole has been updated. The employee handbook project, we've essentially split it into 2 phases. First phase is let's get it up to date in terms of what has actually been adopted, update our terminology, and update any state code that we're missing from our employee handbook. So that is what this handbook presentation is, which is that first phase. In our second phase, we would like to do additional, whether it be amendments, additions, et cetera. We've had staff and commissioners come up with really excellent recommendations that we would love to adopt, but we would really like to start with a clean copy to start off with that. So with that, does the commission have any questions for us in regards to the changes made?
One thing I would like to point out is that this is, just so that it's clear, this is an entire repeal and replace. And that language is important in the motion so that all of the language that we have spent all this time amending actually gets repealed and replaced. So that language is important and it's intentional. But that's it for me.
So I don't see that our motion says repeal and replace, it's just approving the resolution. Does the resolution say?
Yeah, the resolution, the now therefore repeal and replace is the language of the resolution.
And one other thing, as resolutions or ordinance get approved in the future, could we include in this motion that those are automatically added? That is something that would be beneficial. I think, I can't make a motion, but I would like to recommend that's added.
Really quickly, so that language so the handbook actually was supposed to say that. The version that got uploaded does not include that additional language. So that's why I'm not including it. Then next week you should have one on in your consent agenda that would just be.
Oh, fix it next meeting to say that, okay.
Yeah, I didn't catch that before before I walked over.
Okay, oh, I think you had a comment.
Yeah, no, I'd move to approve the resolution amending the employee handbook to incorporate all ordinances and resolutions passed since the last update.
I'll second.
Okay. Commissioner Winfield made motion, Martinez seconded. Any other comments or discussion?
Just thanks for your hard work on this. I think it's it's long overdue.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I'll call for a vote. Those in favor? That's a 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you.
And the next one is with our planning and zoning director, Andrew Jackson. Number 9, the resolution for final plat approval of lot 15.
Did we skip?
Did I skip one? Oh, I skipped one.
I thought it was.
You can sit there though. I don't think that, you can stay there. You can sit there. I don't think anybody's gonna be taking that spot. Sorry, guys. Number 8 is the midterm vacancy appointment to Grand County Special Service Water District, and it says county administration, but I think that Brian is the liaison for that board.
Yeah, either which way, let's just see there, I believe it's Mike Duncan is gonna be taking off. Originally, he had plans to, as he was doing his move, to be able to come back and be able to fulfill that seat. I think that he's decided that he's not able to end out his term. So this is a term appointment for the December 31st, for a term ending December 31st, 2027. There were two applicants. They're both on the, on different water boards, Dale Weiss and Ben Wilson.
Thank you. Bill's, first.
I move to appoint Del Weiss, however you pronounce that last name, I have apologies. To the Grand County Special Service Water District to a term ending 12/31/2027. And then just a comment, I think both of these people are extremely qualified. I know that Dale has put in a lot of years out there working hard, and Ben has just started his recently, but both of them are very qualified, and I don't think it's one is better than the other. Either choice would have been great for WISA.
I'll second that. Okay. And do we have any more comment? Okay, so we have a motion for Del Weiss, vacancy position. All in favor? That passes 7-0. All right, now we'll move to number 9, the resolution for final plat approval of lot 15 minor subdivision short.
And happy St. Patrick's Day and happy heavenly birthday to my grandma Jordine, who, being a German lady, was the most Irish person I've ever met. Mr. Short owns a 5-acre parcel being lot 15 of the All-American Acres subdivision and has applied for a 3-lot minor subdivision with permit 2548. The Short subdivision is situated at 4381 Heather Lane. It is located in the rural residential zone, which permits a maximum density of 1 unit per acre. The applicant intends to retain the existing structures on the property. The application meets the minor subdivision requirements set forth in 9.3 and 9.18 of the Land Use Code. It complies with the rural residential zone as outlined in section 2.5 of the Grand County Land Use Code. Staff recommends approval of the Short 3-lot minor subdivision as submitted. And I will note that this went out to DRT a couple of weeks ago. We got a comment back that there was a bearing was wrong, and so that's been submitted. And also just a request that they hook up to the water and sewer lines, which I have verified with Ms. Sharp that they will do that.
Okay. Mike?
I'd like to make the motion, having considered the staff report and recommendations, public comments, testimony, and the land use code, and finding the Christopher Short application complies with the Grand County, Utah Land Use Code for minor subdivisions and for development in the rural residential zone. I move to approve resolution number to be decided for the Short minor subdivision final plat. I'll second that.
Okay, and Bill seconds. Any discussion? Questions, comments? No? Okay, call for a vote. Those in favor? And that passes unanimously. Thank you. The next one is still with Andrew. Resolution, it's number 10. Resolution for final plat approval of Jack's subdivision, 3190-208 and 3250 Spanish Valley Drive.
Robbie and Julie Lovato own 3 parcels with a combined acreage of 6.8 acres and have applied for a 6-lot subdivision named Jack's subdivision with permit 2547. The Jack's subdivision is situated at 3190, 3208, and 3250 Spanish Valley Drive. It's located in the rural residential zone, which permits a maximum density of 1 unit per acre. The applicant intends to retain the existing structures on the property. The application meets the subdivision requirements set forth in 9.3 and 9.18 of the Land Use Code and complies with the rural residential zones outlined in section 2.5 of the Grand County Land Use Code. Staff recommends approval of the 6-lot subdivision as submitted. The only DRT comment was again requiring the hookup to the water and the sewer system, and I verified with Mr. Lovato that that's good too.
Okay, Commissioner Winfield?
Yes, I'll make the motion, having considered the staff report and recommendation, public comments, testimony, and the land use code, and finding that Robbie and Julie Lovato application for final plat approval of Jack subdivision being a 6-lot subdivision complies with the Grand and County, Utah Land Use Code for subdivisions and for development in the rural residential zone. I move to approve resolution number to be determined for the Jack subdivision final plat.
Okay, and Trish?
Second that.
Trish seconds, okay?
I have one
Go
question.
ahead.
Why Jack's? Oh, grandpa. Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
Father's name too.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call for a vote. Those in favor? Okay, that passes unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Andrew. And our last discussion, action item for the night is number 11. It's a recommendation for essential air services or alternative essential air service provided to the U.S. Department of Transportation. Our airport director, Steve Gleason, and Liz.
Just to be probably EAS and not AEAS.
I know, I was like, why would you say
It's now
that?
everyone that proposed are all eligible for EAS now instead of AEAS.
Yes.
Why we went to it last time. So we started this process quite a while ago. Brought Luke in to make sure that we got as many qualified proposals as we possibly could so that we had the best possible opportunity to pick what would work best for this community. We received 4 very good proposals. 3 of them came out and did site visits with us. One of them, Advanced Air, kind of came in at the last minute. We weren't expecting that necessarily. The others, we had a pretty robust process of talking to them, finding out what their information was. Now, Luke is here to answer any questions about what the information that he sent you, which should be in your packet. There is a full presentation that's been given a few times, but it's about a 45-minute process. So I think if all of you have had a chance to look through it, I can tell you that it was a unanimous decision by the airport to recommend SkyWest as the essential air service provider. And it was a unanimous decision by the subcommittee of the commission to recommend SkyWest as the provider. So we're here to answer any questions about the process. We tried to make this as open a process as we could. I can tell you I came in with no preconceived notions. I just really wanted to find out what was best for the community, knowing a little bit about what happened the last time we chose and how there were limited options. So I just wanted to make sure that we had plenty of options. So we're here to questions, help you in any way that we can.
Well, I'll comment. I was on I attended all 3 of the presentations by 3 of the airlines. So one came in at the last minute, didn't have a presentation, but also on the airport subcommittee, I met with Contour, all 3 of the operating, people. And I really had a hard decision with this. I come from a background of like the little guy, and I really wanted to, and I see all the pros that Contour and Denver Airlines have, and I still go everywhere I go in the community. Even this morning at my board meeting, everyone's like SkyWest, SkyWest, SkyWest. So, I mean, for me, it was like overwhelming. I got the information, I listened to everybody. I think they're all great airlines, and overwhelmingly the community's telling us SkyWest, and that's really what bases my opinion. Go ahead, Jacques.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, honestly, we're lucky. I think 3 of them were great. I think we'd be in a good position with any of those 3. So at least it's a win-win-win decision, although it doesn't make it any easier. This is definitely one of the harder decisions that I've had to come by on the commission for sure. And I think there's been just a ton of thought and information and outreach. So I think all the boxes have been checked, and homework's been done, and now it's our call.
Yeah, go ahead, Trish.
Yeah, this is one of the times I don't enjoy this job very much. Budget season's painful, and this is also one of those times. I did not go to the presentations, but I've done a lot of research, and I've talked to a lot of people that know a lot about our specific airport operations. And SkyWest did leave us in lurch in the past. I want to make that statement. hopefully that will not occur again. So I'm not threatening, I just hope that doesn't occur again. And Contour came in and picked up the ball and bent over backward for this community. They really did. And so I am going to be forever grateful for that. But the people that I talked to made it very clear that in order for us to grow our airport, we need to go with this larger carrier. We need to go with SkyWest at this time. And hopefully you will provide us the services we need and far into the future, and our airport will continue to grow. And I think the overall objective eventually will be to get out of the EAS, right?
That would
System.
be ideal.
That would be ideal.
And to that, no matter which airline you pick, just so everybody's aware, that doesn't mean that someone can't come and
Right.
continue to provide those at-risk flights that they're talking about to the different locations. That's still.
I appreciate that, Steve. Thanks. So thank you.
Mary, go ahead. Ms. Giffen, please.
Yes, this is a very difficult decision because I was very angry with SkyWest. I mean, it was, not only did they leave us in the lurch, they did it in a pretty much cavalier way. Well, like, fiddly-dee, this is how it happens. And that, you know, so I go, you know, I will say I don't have, they're gonna have to earn my trust, because right now I have a lot of, you know, reservations. I felt like they treated us like second-class citizens. And I got the opposite experience with Contour. When I was going through a tough time, Contour went out of its way to help me. And, you know, so this has been very, very difficult. They only, but I don't represent myself. I represent the community. And the community really wants those Sky Miles. And they want certain things that Contour can't provide. And it saddens me to my bone to not feel I can go ahead and support them because I represent the citizens of this county. I don't represent myself.
Commissioner McCurdy?
Could you, there's a two-part question here. I had some contractual questions. If in part of our contracts with any of our EAS providers, we are able to hold their feet to the fire. Some of our contracts previously they weren't as well written in Grant County's best interests as I thought. Did we get a chance to look over those?
It's a lot more complex
Yeah.
because it deals with the DOT.
There are certain things that you have to meet for the DOT, but that doesn't mean that we also don't have some leeway in what our contract can say.
Okay. In that too, can you give me just the annual prices for each carrier of what they were gonna,
what their
the EAS
EAS.
contribution would be?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I was like, or what page it was on this booklet?
Are you saying annual prices or ticket prices?
No, the annual prices for the EAS supplement, or can I think of the name?
the EAS subsidy is in the portion.
I know it's at the back of each. I know it's at the rear of each. You have it on one page in here.
What's that?
Yeah, he has it in the, all together in the evaluation.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Okay, you were asking about
Annual subsidy.
annual subsidy. Okay. Let's start with I'll give you all four. Advanced Air, they're all 4-year contracts, and the subsidy amount for each carrier escalates each year or increases by a small amount each year, recognizing inflation and so forth. So let me just give you year one for all four, and I think that'll help you understand it. Advanced Air subsidy request for year number one is $5,598,555. Contour for year one was $5,432,940. Denver Air for year one was $5,202,222. And then lastly, SkyWest for year one was $5,424,337. So really not a great deal of difference among the four. And part of that was reflective of the service that they were providing. And so let me just highlight that for you. Advanced Air is proposing 6 flights a week to Denver, 6 flights a week to Phoenix, 30 passenger jet. Contour in their option number 1, which is what I read, 7 flights a week to Denver, 5 flights a week to Phoenix, also a 30 passenger jet. Denver Air Connection, 6 flights a week to Denver, 6 flights a week to Salt Lake with a 50 passenger jet. And then lastly, SkyWest in their option, 6 flights a week to Denver, 6 flights a week to Salt Lake. The difference being the Denver service would be doing business as United Express as a code-share flight with a CRJ 550, that's a 50 passenger jet.
Yeah, the United one will be a
Excuse me, CRJ 200, my mistake, 50 passenger jet. The Salt Lake service would be doing business as Delta Connection with a CRJ 550, also a 50 passenger jet. So with the code share, you get the benefit of a seamless passenger experience, either as United Express to Denver or Delta Connection to Salt Lake.
On the code share. Thank you.
Yes.
You add them all up. I mean, we can kind of tell you it fell that actually Denver Air ended up being the lowest subsidies.
Yep.
Last.
Bill?
Yeah, I think sitting through all 3 processes now from the subcommittee to the airport board last night and recommendations we've heard today, that I'm willing to step up and make that motion. But I think one of the things that was stressed was local wages that was stressed in the subcommittee, and there was just a few things that we want to make sure that our local workforce is taken care of with, regardless which airline was picked to come in here. And I know that this is just a motion to send a letter to DOT and the FAA. They still could pick something else, although we hope that they would follow what the community is looking for here. But I know that there is a real concern with some of those areas for our locals here, and we are a resort community, whether some people want to admit it or not, and sometimes myself, I don't want to admit it, but you just get down on Main Street and that forces everybody in this room, from a bicycle shop to myself as a construction company. We have to pay employees that want to work here to be able to live here, and those costs are higher. And so I just want to stress that as we move forward, but I will move to recommend SkyWest as the air service provider for the Canyonlands Regional Airport.
A second.
And Brian second. So we have a motion from Bill and a second from Brian.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to note that not only was local wages indicated as important to the community, but also the local fairs as well leaving or originating from.
Thank you, sir.
There is more process yet to go.
Yeah.
As you said.
You can start working on a contract after it gets.
Yeah, we can't work on it until DOT tells us for sure that they're.
All right, any other discussion, Mike?
I've spoken to about 140 in the lumberyard. Many for Contour and a great many for SkyWest. I did want to say we've received quite a few emails pointing out people's experiences in heavy weight of SkyWest also. Talking to people and hearing from people has really weighed on my opinion. So I want to state that.
Commissioner Martinez?
Yeah, I just want to state, that everyone who's spoken tonight has made such great statements. I actually agree with every single one of the commissioners up here on what they've said. And it was a hard decision. And I also want to be grateful and thank the folks that really did the research. The amount of research and the amount of time that was put into making this decision did not come lightly from any commissioner. So I appreciate everyone's work that they did on this. From the subcommittees to the airport committees to going out and talking with people at the lumberyard. to, you know, weighing your own personal experiences that you've had and looking at what the community needs. There was a lot stated here tonight, and I think that we're moving forward with a good choice, so.
Okay. All right, we're gonna go ahead and call for a vote. Those in favor of the motion? That passes unanimously. All right. Would anyone like to?
Is that all unanimous throughout that entire?
Entire night was unanimous.
Better enjoy that now. Okay.
I will. So we do have an opportunity, we have a little bit of time, we will go ahead and if anyone would like to comment on their commission report, if there's something that is 3-minute worthy, want to discuss it, and go ahead, John.
Thanks. Actually, not in my report, but I just wanted to give a plug to, I'm on the museum board and the museum's annual spring gala is coming up. I've attended the last 3 of those. It's a super cool local event that they put on, as well as a major fundraiser for that organization. They really need it. So I would encourage all of you guys and everyone in the public to get your tickets for that. It is, oh my gosh, I think it's the 26th of March.
Yeah.
So it's coming up soon, and it's gonna be a blast. It's kind of a Western theme this year, but they always have great events, great auctions. They have an auctioneer again this year.
Be careful,
so that's
be very careful. I bought so much.
that's my plug.
Okay, anybody else? Mike?
I know Trish should speak about this too, as she's on the board, but Grant County Fair is not that far away, guys. Along with America the 250. I mean, it's gonna be a big event for this area. It's a big event for parents, kids. I mean, it's free. Come out and enjoy it. I will be reaching out to the paper here very soon and speaking about this just the same, because we cannot get the word out there. This is a huge event. This is a huge event for our community. Get out and enjoy it, and it's coming.
Remind us the date, please.
July 2nd, 3rd, 4th? Second, 3rd, 4th this year.
And on top of that, if you don't mind,
Yeah, no.
we always need volunteers.
They always need volunteers.
And I am actually kind of hitting up Tess to possibly come up with a manner that if employees volunteered, we'd give them a little comp time. So I'm just kind of throwing that out. So she said she would wait till the handbook got updated, and then maybe we would talk about, you know, I think.
Along with comp time, I'm willing to sacrifice lunch for anyone who's willing lunch or dinner to come out, and please, they need volunteers, and having more volunteers just makes this event bigger, better. We impact more families in our community. That it's a self-eating snake. It's wonderful. So thanks.
All right, anybody else? I just want to thank all the people that applied for the boards. We have a lot of board vacancies, and even just today, I was on the EMS board. We had 5 people apply for vacant positions, so that'll be on next month's next month, but just overwhelming amount of people being involved, and I think it's really great. And we didn't have a fixed Skyway Tax Committee meeting in this last section of time. We have one planned for next month. I know that we're all eagerly waiting Spanish Valley multi-use pathway updates, so when we have more information on that, we will get it out there. And then any elected, do you have a report for us?
No, we're getting closer to hiring the position for the victim advocate. That's exciting. The number of trials has reduced substantially. We really enjoyed working with the new public defender, Krista Crook. We're able to address items, and that's been resolved matters well. Otherwise, I think everything's status quo for us. We don't have anything too exciting.
Okay. Mark?
We have some good news, or exciting news. We're closing in on a decision for the mock director. So that should be forthcoming this week, hopefully in the next day or so. And if you have any questions, call us, we'll do what you think you have.
Okay. All right, well, with that, I will call it an evening. We are going to conclude this meeting at 5:49 on March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day.